Okay, I'm doing a reading today. I don't exactly even know how to phrase this as far as a question goes, but I want to look at the ancient world, basically the prehistoric world, and just see, number one, if there is wisdom waiting to be found that can help us today from the ancient world. And I do also want to look at like artifacts or, books or whatever. But looking at the ancient world. So, random word, Polako. Oh, that's a Serbian word. It means slowly. And number 26. That was my first random Serbian word. I feel good about that. Okay, so our root card is a Queen of Cups. And the main card is the Ace of Swords. Okay, so what the fuck does this mean? Alright, so the Queen of Cups on the bottom. So here we have devotion. This is the devoted person. Um, so I guess right away, this would kind of say that to really get something valuable out of the ancient world, you would have to be devoted. You would have to also be like very careful, you know? But devotion and love. Um, it would make sense if that, I mean, the people that would find the things or spend enough time to figure out what they would mean would have to be devoted people. So the main card is the Ace of Swords. Now, there's a couple of different ways to read this, but at its core, the Ace of Swords is about taking control. Um, so, as far as the ancient wisdom goes, it could be a way to take control. Let's just see what else we got sort of surrounding this energy. Page of Swords. Okay. And the High Priestess. So, the High Priestess is very sacred and secretive. Also, kind of very closed. But I think what's really being highlighted here is the sacred aspect of the Ace of Swords and then the Page of Swords. Now, literally, this could be a sword, right? The thing that the ancient world has to give could be a literal sword, but the figurative sword or the metaphorical sword is that of like control of thought. Uh, and theoretically controlling your own thoughts. Now, maybe there's an ancient mind control device, but I think this is talking more about being able to control yourself. So, in ancient wisdom, it would take a person of devotion and dedication to sort of unravel it. And also, it would allow you, I mean, sacred energy, but allow you to control your thoughts and maybe even control what you see, or like being able to adjust what it is that you're looking for. In today's world of division and bullshit, so many people are trained to see division and bullshit, right? But if you train yourself to see fucking sunsets and butterflies instead, then the world would suck a lot less, I would imagine. All right. So, what I want to look at here is if there are physical objects, right? Like physical objects, if they are found, then, when the person touches it, they get the download or whatever the fuck. However the fuck that shit would work. So we're looking at like artifacts and stuff. So are there physical objects from the ancient world that would be able to help us, or at least like wield some sort of power in the modern world. Interesting. So, well, again, we get a sword, right? Here it's the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Swords is about a whole bunch of pressure put on someone to do something, and um, they're probably going to eat that sword. Interesting. Huh. Well, number one, I'm going to say that there is probably a special sword, right? Just because the swords are showing up. Now, if you were to find this special sword, it might not be what you wanted to do necessarily. The star reversed is when, I mean, this is when the universe harmonizes with your desires and everything works out really great. Purification, the reverse star. I mean, the way I would read that is things wouldn't exactly work out the way that you wanted them to. So, this also might really be about the intention of getting the artifact, because if you were doing it because you were pressured to do it, then it might blow up in your face, or you might end up swallowing that. But we do have a strong case for swords here. Let's see if there is a book, like the fucking manual of the human mind or something that is out there. Um, and we get a Queen of Pentacles. Now, truly, the Queen of Pentacles highlights what I think is the truth about most of the sacred texts, and there's a communication gap. The best way that I've ever heard this said, it was Bruce Lee in, was it Enter the Dragon? I think it was Enter the Dragon, when he points to the moon and he tells his student to look at the moon, and the student's looking at his finger, and he smacks him on the head and he said, don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all of that heavenly glory. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is essentially about a communication gap. She shows them this pentacle because she thinks that it will reach them and they don't know what the fuck she's talking about whatsoever. And usually that's true with texts. And if there is a text from the ancient world, it would be in an ancient language that people would probably mistranslate. Um, and fucking words, Truth cannot always be put into words in an effective manner. So, but there might be a sword. All right. So let's just see. I want to see if there is one that's just waiting to be found, like there is some ancient secret that is really close to being discovered or something like that. And what we get is the world. So the way that I would translate that as far as an actual ancient secret, well, now I'm seeing like two different things. But first, the world is the final card of tarot, so this would kind of be like the moment before the new world. So this might show like this sort of energy resurfacing in the world would sort of cause things to change in a fundamental way. Now there's two other things that I'm seeing here. One is a straight up portal, right? So the relic of the ancient world that might change things is literally, it could be a portal, right? Um, who fucking knows where it goes? Even if it was a portal from Cleveland to fucking Macon, Georgia, then that would be kind of earth shaking, It would be quite a deal. So the other thing that I'm seeing is, and I've seen this thing in dreams, it's the serpent. It's the world serpent. So the world serpent might be the thing from the ancient world that we find and we're like, oh my god, that was not a good find. Because Jorgemund, is destined to at least attempt to destroy the earth and all that stuff. So that's what we get here. It might be a good time to look for a sword. And I would love to hear any other thoughts or anything like that that anyone has on this, or any other, aspects to look at it from. And let me know if you have any requests for readings. That's what we get for now. And peace.